Ready to go.
Vincent, last time out, a super win at Bournemouth against a side from a higher division. You must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, of course. It was a tricky away game, and it was one that allows us to keep going in the cup competition. So we're happy with it, but it's in the past now.
Taylor Harwood-Bellis went off injured in that game. What's the latest with him?
Yeah, it's like I think after the game I said it's either nothing or it's bad. That's usually what it is with a knock, and unfortunately it's the latter. And we'll need some time to recover, but like always with these type of situations, for him it's an opportunity to improve as well and to work on stuff he's not been able to do due to the amount of games he's played so far.
Does that give an opportunity to somebody else in the squad?
Well, it always does. We're not going to play with 10 players.
Burnley won the reverse fixture 1-0 at Coventry. What were your memories of that game?
It feels like it was a long time ago, but I don't know. I mean, they were missing key players on that day, and I think they'd have a whole bunch of games that were called off. So it's hard. I think we've improved since, but they've improved since as well. It's difficult to say, but it's a game at Turf Moor now, and for us that's always something special.
It's hard to believe they will bottom after that defeat. You've touched on it. They've improved significantly since then.
Yeah, they were never going to be. I think they had a lot of games in hands. It was never going to be staying down there. And I think if it weren't for the key players missing out, which I think was what damaged them the most, they would have been fighting for playoff spots, no doubt.
It's 6 league wins on the spin, 10 and 11. You've been nominated for Manager of the Month. It's a fantastic little run. How do you keep that going? By just looking at how we can improve and setting new challenges ahead, new tasks for what's coming, and also the competition within the team. I think players still have to prove every single week that they are the best players within our own squad, and that helps performance, I think. The last 2 games have been long journeys, Swansea and Bournemouth. The fans have followed Burnley in numbers. How much do you appreciate their support?
Those long journeys are it's a strain always for the players, of course, physically, but you always have that added pressure because you have the fans that have made the trip so far, and I think it's it makes it a little bit more important to get something out of it, and those 2 results were outstanding, obviously, for them as well.
And it's Turf Moor, obviously, on Saturday, close to a full house. Great to be back.
It's a special place, it really is, and if it doesn't really matter whether we get the crowd going or they get us going, but if we're up for it, it adds to what makes it tough to come and play at our home.
Thanks, Vincent. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Vinny.
Hi there.
Just on Taylor, you said he'd be out for some time. Is there sort of a time scale? Is it a couple of weeks, couple of months, rest of the season? How's it sort of?
No, not the rest of the season, but I think in terms of time scales is going to be, maybe a couple of months, but because of these type of injuries usually heal well, but we just always got to be careful holding on too much to a time scale. We'll see. Could be earlier, could be later.
What is the nature of the injury, or are you keeping that?
No, I think that's it's for him to disclose if he wants to. But the key part for us is that we'll have to miss an important player for a period of time, and the team has to respond as it always does.
Will he remain here? Does he go back to Man City at all, or how does it sort of work in that sense?
No, we always work very closely with the clubs of players that we loan, but I think in general we're well aligned and well equipped to deal with it. So hopefully he'll be back very soon to help us towards the end of the season, which will be important as well.
Does that heighten the need to perhaps dip into the transfer market, obviously, and try and get in another another centre back. You've let Kevin Long go. Obviously, Matt Loughton's gone as well. Two defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, we were always, I think, very clear on the fact that we have, and that doesn't really have anything to do with Taylor's injury. We have, 3 lone players across the back 4, and eventually a gap will appear, whether it's now or whether it's but in the summer, no matter what the scenario is, a gap will appear, and so if we can anticipate on that, we'll do something this transfer window. We'll try to do something, and we were clear on that. Yeah.
There's been suggestions in Belgium that Amin Al Dakil, forgive my pronunciation there if I've got that completely wrong, is close to joining and is here for a medical. Is there anything you can share on that?
Yeah, I mean, with that we'll see, because I'm not so much. When we take the medicals very serious, and I'm not so much thinking about not wanting to disclose anything, but in general, if a medical goes wrong, and I'm not confirming or denying, but I'll just explain why it's a bit delicate. If a medical goes wrong and a player has to go back, that can affect his career as well in a negative way. So I'm usually, but we are looking to strengthen for sure.
That obviously Taylor's formed quite a strong partnership with Jordan Beyer at the back. Just sort of how pleased have you been with Jordan Beyer and how he's managed to adapt to a new country, a new league? And I think sort of prior to him signing, there was suggestions that maybe he might play at right back, or he had played at right back before. Obviously he's playing left side of a centre back now. I don't know how much difference it makes having a right footer on that side. You know more than me, but just how pleased have you been with the way he's developed and sort of grown in stature alongside Taylor?
Look, he's very coachable, and he definitely has the physical attributes to play as a centre back and as a full back, but mainly as a centre back in the system we play. We usually defend as quite high from our goal, so even in our central defenders, mobility is important, and that's why these type of profiles usually do end up playing in these positions as well for us. And then in the end is just developed into a very complete centre half. He wins his headers, he's managing his distance as well, his reading and understanding of the game has improved a lot. And then you can add on top of that the fact that he gives us what he shows every weekend on the ball. So he's been good, he's been coachable, but he can still get better.
Wout Weghorst, believed to be close to joining Manchester United on loan. Is that the situation as you understand it? Have you sort of had any involvement in that as Burnley manager? Obviously he's a Burnley player, but it's a complex deal with him being on loan at Besiktas for the season.
No, my involvement's been extremely simple. The question I asked first and foremost is, can he be recalled, yes or no? The answer was no, unless we pay a hefty transfer fee. We're not going to pay a transfer fee to get one of our own players back. So that kind of eliminated for me my involvement, and then the rest is between whoever the clubs are that are mentioned and to find an agreement. And I think until the end of the season we don't have much to say.
Is there a chance he might still have a future at Burnley? Obviously he's got a contract for another couple of years, and in theory he returns to you at the end of the season, depending on on the outcome of the next 24-48 hours. Do you think there might be a future for him still at Burnley?
I think with these situations, I mean, it has to play out when it plays out. Every player with a contract with us is a player that we feel that if he's wanting and if he's willing and if if everything is right, is a player that it makes it easier for us than to go out in the market and spend whatever amount of money. But the crucial part is he's got to finish his season wherever that is, and then at the end of the season I'll have a conversation with the player, which is for me the most important conversation, and that will then decide everything. But you're anticipating too much because you're thinking that we're going to be in the Premier League, whereas in my case I still have to live to, I'm a championship manager in a championship club, and I don't want to be thinking about the Premier League at all right now.
Last one from me. I think obviously Wout being a striker, you've only got one striker in Joe Rodriguez contracted past the summer. It is perhaps an area of the squad that is in need of replenishing over the next 2 transfer windows, whichever division you're in. Michael Obafemi's name has been doing the rounds again this week. I know a player you had interest in the summer. Is that a player you're interested in this month, and is that a position you're sort of particularly interested in strengthening?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's actually not too difficult to guess what we'll be doing. I mean, you've mentioned end of contracts plus loans. You tally all those up, and then you say, well, they're going to need to replace them. I mean, we see the same thing. The only thing is, perhaps where I'm a little bit on a different timeline is, I don't want to project anything past us winning in the championship, and that's the only thing that matters. You know, it's a different problem to solve later on. For now, the players that we have, they're good. We want to see if we can add a little bit short-term, long-term. You know, players who can fit in either scenario, which is, you know, if we do a player now, in this moment, it'll have to be a player that can help us right now, and that can be with us in either scenario. So the market is not that big for us. You know, a player that can be good enough for the Premier League if it happens, but also good enough to help us in the Championship if we stay in the Championship. That's a little bit the scenarios we're having to work with.
Nice one. Thanks very much. All the best for the weekend.
You.